Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we have a treat for you. Samantha Mowat returns. Do the ETs really want disclosure? We're going to get into this from the other side, from someone who has mass communication with them. But first, we need to say hello to each and every one of you, including Race Fan in the gold medal position, Kitty Cattywhack in the silver, Frankie B in the bronze medal tonight. Let me know how I'm sounding, guys, because we're having a little bit of audio issues right before the show. So if I'm sounding good, make sure there's no cracking or scratching or anything. I'm waiting for you guys to do that before I start with the roll call here. So if you could, I would appreciate it. And we're waiting. We're waiting. Sound fine? Perfect. That's all I need. That's all I need. Right there. Let's go up here. We have T-Bone, my man. How you doing? Trucker Andrew. Mel WD-40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because you can't talk ET disclosure from the aliens without being lubed up. So, Mel, thank you. Don't forget to give yourself a little shot as well. Michael Morris, how you doing? Our attorney at large. As we continue on with our roll call. And who is next on our list? It's Trucker Andrew. Gear Jammers, how you doing? Nice to have you here. Mama Catherine, mwah, I love you, my dear. I hope you're having a great night tonight. And I know you always love it when Samantha's on. So we're going to have a great show, I promise you. Scrolling on down, we have, let's keep it going. Keep it going. I'm so behind right now. So behind. Mickey G, JSCO, how you guys doing tonight? And who is next? Meemaw Flowers is here. Meemaw Flowers will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Integrationing, how are you? As we continue on with our roll call here. Flubber Lane, nice to see you. Number 22 in your program tonight, starting at center ice from Stockholm, Sweden. Lars Jansson, there he is. Scrolling on down. We have Goblin. How you doing? Luscious Jules. Nice to see you. John Lamb is here, as well as Thomas Rock. Phyllis Boucher Perry. Nice to see you. Ozzy is here. He'll be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. John Jackson. Nice to see you. As we scroll on down on our roll call to say hello to Shogun, as well as Mark Wolf. Good to have you guys here. Thank you. Chris Irvin, nice to see you tonight. As we scroll on down, Chaz Mataz, nice to see you. And Dunzel, thank you for coming on in. We scroll on down a little bit more. We have Pam Harris, we have Vinny, and we have Mr. Cowley. Nice to have you all here tonight. D Park, how you doing? Welcome. Terry Mills, thank you for joining us. Free Your Mind, good to see you, my dear. Hope you had a great weekend. Jason Blanchett, welcome to SOR Chat as we continue on with our roll call here. I'm making up good time tonight. Making up good time. This is what happens when you stretch before a show. Walter Kochabinski, Hillbilly Herb, Big J, nice to have you all here, guys. Thank you for coming on in. And who else? Ward Dragon, good to see you. We're caught up just like that. Jessica McCreary, how you doing? Nice to see you. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. What do the aliens think of disclosure? We're going to have Samantha Mowat, lifelong ET contactee, on the show to talk about this in just a couple of minutes' time. We're in roll call on our YouTube side right now. We say hello to Yanni, and we say hello next to Aussie Boss Tiger. The Michael Leger is here. The Michael Leger. There he is. All right, we're caught up. Super Chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Louise, how you doing? And shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So check it on out. Have some fun with it. And it's that time of the night where I love to tell you to throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin walls. We're together. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out, Bumble, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. Come join us September 18th through 20th at Caribou Con, right here in the heart of British Columbia. Get your tickets now for Caribou Con at cariboucon.com. What do ETs think about disclosure? Lifelong ET contactee, a great friend of this show, Samantha Mowat, is going to be here momentarily to discuss this all. In hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another creepy story. We'll follow that up with our good friend, Nicole Sakic, will be filling in for Grant Baker on the UFO report tonight. All right. If you have never heard Samantha speak, it gets a little wild, and you will absolutely love it because she will make you think, she will make you ponder, and she will make you realize there is more to life than what we know. From a very young age, Samantha has described herself as a lifelong connection with the metaphysical and multicultural, multidimensional worlds, including experiences with angelic beings that she perceives as bodies of light. As a contactee, Samantha's desire to understand these experiences led her to study metaphysics, energy work, psychic development, and the occult. She recalls astral projection experiences in which she found herself in school-like settings, learning to perceive, manipulate, and understand energy. Over time, she developed abilities that she describes as clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, clairaudience, and precognition. She is also a lifelong ET contactee. She has had encounters with a variety of beings, including Greys, Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Lyrans, reptilians, mantid beings, hybrids, light beings, and other unusual energies. Her website, samanthamowat.ca. Mowat is spelled M-O-W-A-T. samanthamowat.ca. Samantha, it is always great to have you on Spaced Out Radio. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Dave. How are you? And thanks for having me.
I am great. I am pumped up. It is always an incredible show when you are here. And you know what? I would say you are one of our most requested guests.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that.
Yeah. You live north of me, somewhere in the middle of the forest. You've been a lifelong ET contactee. Hard to believe I've known you for 12 years. This is the lady, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody listening, that literally the first day I met her, after about 20 minutes, walked me into a forest to see an extraterrestrial standing there, 12 feet tall, tan in color. And my life changed from that moment on. And I will never forgive you for that, Samantha.
Sorry, my bad. I did warn you ever since, don't come out in the woods with me if you don't want to have scary shit happen. So,
Oh, I get you. I get you. I mean, it is very, very realistic with you. And I will always vouch for your accuracy on everything. Does it
thanks.
scare you anymore?
Yeah, sometimes it scares the crap out of me. Like, Dave, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're not aware of the fact that you're in an encounter and you're having a physical encounter with, say, the Greys, and they drop you off a block away from your house, that sometimes when they put you at the wrong location can be very scary. Same with if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're standing on your deck in your backyard, you know the doors are locked. Stuff like that is really unnerving. But for the most part, it's not too bad.
How come for you it doesn't stop? Yet for other people, and I will put myself in that category, I
Yeah.
can't remember the last time I had an ET experience.
Yeah. I understand that it can be difficult for other people not having the same degree of contact. For me, part of the reason it does not stop is this is part of my soul agreement for this lifetime. It is my job to normalize psychic abilities, extraterrestrial and multidimensional contact, help other people prepare to have their own experiences by teaching them what I've gone through and explaining it in a way so that when they start to have their own experiences, both on the astral level, a psychic level, or a physical capacity, with the different extraterrestrial multidimensional beings, that they're not approaching it with the same degree of fear. And that's part of why I go through as much as I do, is to help other people understand it.
Do you like what you do?
Some days it's great. I
What makes
one
it
thing
great?
when I get to see my hybrid children, I'm really happy. They're really sweet. I have a lot of different types of hybrids. I lost count in the 70s, with a whole bunch of different species, varieties of Arcturian, varieties of gray, some reptilian hybrids. I've got a lot of different variety of hybrid babies out there, which is for me, because I love children so much, it fills my heart with joy. When I get to go on to craft in a physical capacity and go to school on craft where they teach me things and how to play with energy or how to see the future or how to better understand what's going on the planet, I love that. Where it's more challenging and less enjoyable is if you are someone who has contact, you can have contact in three capacities. Astral, which is when you go to sleep at night, your soul leaves your body and it travels to other dimensional realms. Physical, which is where, like when you and I were in the woods the first day we met and we physically saw a being standing only a little ways away from us, that's a physical encounter. Versus the last one is a psychic encounter, which is what most people end up having at one point or another, which is where you either see shadow people out of the corner of your eyes, or you'll have like a telepathic download going into your head, or receive a message coming in. It's very common for people to have extraterrestrial and multidimensional contact in that capacity and not be aware that's who they're receiving the message from. But when we're looking at stuff like this, Dave, the reason why I have a lot more of it than you do is I can handle it to a better capacity than you can. I was born to a bloodline where my mother's side, my father's side have contact going back for generations, and they were chosen to breed together to have myself and my sister, and we were, well, our mates were chosen for us as to who we're supposed to have contact and, or pardon me, have children with in this lifetime on Earth, so they can continue the increased extraterrestrial DNA within the human bodies. And because that higher percentage of ET DNA, we are better able to handle time on craft, time off of Earth, more psychic information being telepathically sent between us and the ETs, because we're genetically better able to handle it due to the modified DNA. If you had the same thing I had, Dave, you would have more nosebleeds, more migraines, and you'd probably start to feel like you're going crazy. Sorry.
I already knew doing this show every night. I mean,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't push it that far. But nonetheless, it is a different path. There's a lot of people who will be hearing this, maybe for the first time hearing you speak, and be like, this sounds completely made up. This person needs help. Yet they don't understand the consciousness connection that goes
Yeah.
along with the phenomena.
And I understand that. I can appreciate how, with their logical mind, they are using from their place of understanding, looking at people who are discussing some of the topics that you and I talk very publicly about and have concern. I do appreciate their logical mind looking at these and having some skepticism, because I think skepticism is a very healthy and good thing to have. But I do want for them to take into consideration everything from the Quran to the Torah to the Bible to the ancient Egyptian texts all talk about different degrees of consciousness being utilized to have encounters with these different types of beings, whether it's the angelic beings that came down and psychically gave messages to different people throughout the Bible, or if we look at the hieroglyphics on some of the Egyptian temples, where you can see things that are very clearly UFOs or seem to share a similar form to that of the Greys or reptilians, we can see that these beings have actually been interacting with the humans upon this planet for thousands, if not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of years. So as much as I understand their skepticism and concern, I do want for them to take into consideration that we only understand a very small portion of what's going on our planet. And I think a lot of people are realizing how much our governments are actually hiding from us and not sharing information. You okay?
Samantha Mowat is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Sam, as you kind of push this topic forward, you have chosen to really remain one of the quieter voices on social media about this. Yes, you have a YouTube channel. Yes, you have a TikTok, but you don't really participate in the goings on daily about UFOs, ET disclosure, or anything. Why do you choose that route over not being a voice for what's going on?
I do want to modify that as time goes on. Like Dave, you've seen how big my book is. You've seen what happened from the 80s all the way to about 2020 and how many frickin' pages that is. And that thing is a frickin' beast. Contact for me does not stop. If we look at some of the more commonly known and louder voices within ufology, one of the problems that I have with quite a few of them is I find their narratives are very restricted and unrealistic. And what I mean when I say that is they are coming at it from an understanding that is very limited due to the lack of extraterrestrial multidimensional contact that they've had. For instance, if you were to take into consideration, sorry, Stephen Greer, but Stephen Greer, who says all extraterrestrials and multidimensionals are kind and benevolent and here for our highest good, to me, that's a load of horse poo. I'm sorry, but it is. Because there is just as much variation within extraterrestrials and multidimensionals as to their motivation for having contact with humans on Earth, whether it's for trade or for hybridization, interaction and learning, or even just encounters in general. So, and I do think this is actually quite well reflected within some of the people who do share their contact experiences. You and I have both been to UFO conferences where we encounter people who've had terrifying experiences with some of the beings that are out there. And that isn't that they're coming at it from a limited point of consciousness necessarily. They could have actually had an encounter with a very mean being that does not view that human as being any more relevant to be kind to than most people would have wrapped. And that sounds very harsh and very mean, but that is something we have to take into consideration. Not every ET is kind. Not every angelic being is kind. The majority are, yes, but not every single one of them. And it is naive to see it as such. And that's part of why as I've been finishing up my book and getting it ready to publish, why I've decided that I do need to increase the amount that I'm speaking about some of these things, because I dislike where the narrative of ufology is going. It has a hard fear base or naivety base. Some people think all Pleiadians are completely kind, and I think that's like saying every Canadian is a good person. It is just as naive to say one is the other.
Samantha Mowat is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Sam, as you have gone down this path, I will say this. I know you have a lot of friends, but I
Yeah.
know also it's been a lonely road for you at
Mhm.
times. And you're not somebody who reaches out for help. You're not somebody who is going to say, "Hey, I need some guidance," or "I need some strength here," or whatever. Why do you feel like a solitary monk on top of a hill regarding this topic?
When you look at psychic abilities, and you could talk to even a lot of your audience, because a very good portion of them will be empathic. Those who have their psychic abilities better developed know that when they encounter anyone, like let's say I come to you, Dave, and I'm going through like my PTSD being really bad from some of my Black Op encounters or some of my negative ET encounters, and I go to try to talk to you about it. And then when I come near you or I pick up the phone and talk to you, you can get waves of information as a psychic from the person that you're interacting with. And you start to think, oh, they're having stress about this thing, or oh, they're having problems over here. Or you start to like get information about that person consciously and subconsciously. And it makes it so you don't necessarily want to add to the burden of the people that you care about. It makes it easier to internalize a lot of it rather than fully sharing all of it. Some of my best friends go through pretty intense ET contact, but I haven't met a single person who goes through it to the same extent that I do. Not one. And honestly, Dave, I would not wish this on anybody.
Do you stay solitary to guard those who are close to you?
To an extent, yeah, I do. I've opened myself up to certain people in the past and have tried my best to share my contact with them and be very open to their own contact. But after a while, it can feel like you're both trauma dumping on each other. And that's not a pleasant way to have a friendship. So I do find it's easier to just keep some of it more to myself. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
That's okay. How often does it happen for you?
At least a few times a month, which isn't very, when you say it out loud, like that doesn't sound like a lot. But when you think about having in the average year at least 36 physical encounters with extraterrestrials, it adds up and it can be frustrating, especially if you're in book it like in your bed at night and you're trying to lay down and spend an hour reading just to unwind and to not spend so much time on social media doom scrolling as we all do. And then you start to feel like craft coming over your house because you sense the vibrational shift coming down over your home. It can be frustrating. So it's like, can I ever catch a break? Do I ever get to relax? And same with when I'm going about my day-to-day life, Dave. The amount of times that I'm doing something and I will see out of the corner of my eye a freaking mantis being that's partially in this dimension or like partly occupying this dimension and partly occupying another one where it's in phase, which is where you see something partially transparent and you can kind of like see it, sorry, in like out of the corner of your eye. And you realize like, okay, so there's a mantis right there. Is it here to see me? Is it here to see my son? Like what's going on? Stuff like that happens a lot. And it's okay. It's very manageable when you're used to it, but it's also kind of aggravating if you're waking up and you're in the middle of the night, you're like, why am I walking out of my bedroom? Why am I like walking down my hallway? Like stuff like that
Mhm.
is very aggravating to go through. So,
You know what's weird
what's up?
is I've realized recently, like in the last month or two,
Yeah,
that since I have been sleeping with a CPAP,
yeah,
I cannot I cannot dream anymore. I don't remember any dreams. I don't remember any interactions. I don't remember anything anymore.
okay,
And it's really messed me up because it's made me question everything that I've gone through. It's made me question everything that I know that I have experienced and
yep,
woken up to. And now I'm like, well, since I have this CPAP, was that my imagination? Was it,
no.
you know, I'm messed up about that, you know.
I understand where your concern is coming from, and I do appreciate the skepticism and the analytical mind trying to understand things better. I think that's a really intelligent way to approach it. But if you or anyone in your audience is having trouble, remembering your dreams, learning how to astral project as you fall asleep is one of the best things you could learn how to do, to consciously leave your body as your body is going to a relaxed state of being, because that will enable you to recall your dreams better and to have interactions with many of these different types of beings. So that could be one way to approach it and to move forward.
This is what I honestly believe.
Mm,
I know the last couple of years I've been exhausted.
yeah.
I've been very exhausted. And I think they're actually giving me a holiday, not putting more on my plate. That's what I truly rack it up to be blunt.
And the good beings that have soul ties to you, who are part of your soul family from previous incarnations and that you have a connection to, they will give you a break when they recognize that you need one. Sometimes they will just not have any contact with you to give you a break, or they'll make it so you don't recall your contact, both of which are a kindness as far as I'm concerned.
It does happen. We
Yeah.
got 3 minutes to go before we go to break at the bottom of the hour. Samantha Mowat is here on Spaced Out Radio. You have dealt with about half a dozen or more different species of ETs.
Dozens, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually was talking about you when I got interviewed on a radio show recently. I was mentioning how you see blue butterflies.
Yes.
You're about to have some sort of contact. They could be flying in the air. It could be on plates. It could be in a painting. It could be on television. What's
Yeah.
the connection that you have with blue butterflies?
I was in a Strong Start classroom when my kids were preschool age, and I was thinking about my contact and how frustrated I was that they were showing up randomly all the time. And I sent a telepathic message to them asking for them to show me a blue butterfly when they were coming so that I wouldn't be caught off guard. I would know they were coming sometime in the next 24 hours. And it was one of the best things I did, although it has caused a lot of frustration, because the amount of times that my kids will hit me and be like, hey, look, blue butterflies. I'm like, oh, come on. I don't want to see anybody right now. So, stuff like that does happen quite a bit.
Blue butterflies.
Yeah.
Yet there are many people who do have triggers. Mine is Pink Floyd's. Is there anybody out there?
Yeah.
There are many people who have those type of triggers. What is with the trigger warnings that it's going to happen?
A trigger warning can help to alter your mind frequency so that you're better prepared to have the contact experience occur. Many things use triggers to put you into an altered state, not just people that go through the programs like monarch programming and so on and so forth, but a lot of ETs will do similar things for people to help put them into an ET encounter. If you talk to quite a few people, they only have their contact at night. And it's because certain varieties of beings find humans are better receptive to having interactions when they're in a more sleepy state, because they're less hostile, less aggressive, and more predictable to know where they are. So it does make it easier for them.
Totally makes it easier for them. And as it goes, like Vincent in the chat room is saying that his trigger is Steve Miller band Swingtown, the song Swingtown.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Yeah. I mean, so it does come in all shapes and forms, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. And the more you start to recognize your own triggers, the more you'll start to understand your own contact history, because everyone's contact history for the people who have it is quite different, but there are some certain commonalities to it when you start investigating how people go about it.
Sam, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. If you've never heard her speak, this is the one you want to listen to. Samantha Mowat is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. She is a psychic medium. She is somebody who is a lifelong ET contactee. And she is here tonight to talk about whether or not the aliens really do want disclosure here on Earth. We're going to get into that weird topic when we return on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear. I'm just opening up.
No worries.
I want to show you all something.
Hmm.
Let me just bring it up because I'm so excited. Let's go like this. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it
I
go?
don't know.
Where'd it go? Where'd who go? All right, hold on.
I don't know.
Right there. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. We do this. This was caught at 8:12 or August 12th at 7:42 a.m.
Hmm.
at 5:21. Hold on.
Uh-huh. Okay, one more time. You gotta press play again. We gotta see it again. Well, that certainly doesn't move like a bear or a cougar.
Here, one more time.
Yeah.
Now, what bugs me about that, at
Yeah.
first I thought it was a bear.
Mm-mm.
Okay. At first I thought it was a bear. Then there was no claws on that hand or
No.
foot.
It was too skinny. Like, if you play it again, look at that foot that we see. That looks way too bipedal to be a bear. Like right after this part, when we see the foot, that doesn't look bear-like to me.
No, it isn't
Mm-mm.
a kitty. Our cats are brown around here.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't have raccoons.
we don't
And
have
it doesn't even
raccoons.
look like one.
The only two things it could be is a black bear or something else. It isn't the rodent. I got video of the rodent. Okay. It's not a
Yeah.
rabbit. Fish, how you doing? Scoose, how you doing? Lisa, how are you? Been a while since you've been here. Nice to have you back. Blue Boy, welcome to SOR chat. Deborah Rooney, nice to see you. JMJ12, nice to see you. Fish again. Let's play this one more time.
The way it moves, it does seem more like hands-like with moving it. Pardon me.
There's the second video.
Okay.
So it flips the camera over.
Yeah.
See, that looks like a hand to me.
Yeah, go back.
Watch it. Hold on. Let me just see how much time we got left.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on. Where'd my thing go? Where'd my DJ go? Yeah, we got a minute and a half. We got time. Okay. So watch right up in, see my mouse? Watch this area here. Okay. You're going to see what looks to be a finger separate. Oh, sorry. It was down below. Sorry. It was lower.
It definitely
So
looks.
sorry, it's going to be in this area. I apologize. It's going to be in this area. Right there. See if I can get it there. Come on, you son of a motherless goat.
Right.
Where is it? Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Where'd it go? Right? No, not there.
Tiny bit.
Right
There we
there.
go. Yep.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think it's the same group we had around us last time we were camping.
Could be. Could
I wouldn't
be.
be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised either. We're coming back in 10 seconds. Stacy, thanks for becoming a member on our YouTube chat. We appreciate that. You're awesome. Oob to Joe's Main. You've got aliens. This is our second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. How are you? I'm glad you're here. Samantha Mowat is our guest. We're going to get to her momentarily. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Samantha Mowat is our guest. Her website, samanthamowat.ca. Lifelong ET contactee in connection with aliens, extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, and anything else you want to really call them, because there's so many fancy terms. We don't use NHI around here because that is a government term that covers things up. Samantha, welcome back.
Hey, Dave. What is NHI? I've never heard that term.
Non-human intelligence.
It's a catch-all. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way they like to do things.
Mm.
Do the aliens want disclosure?
Certain groups certainly do. Other ones don't. Even within the Greys themselves, some of them would really love to see disclosure happen if humans can approach it in a way that is not fear-based. That is one thing that has been talked about many times on Craft to many different ETs, or from many ETs to many contactees, pardon me. But certain groups don't necessarily want it as much. If we look at the majority of the reptilians, especially the ones that are more not necessarily controlling of this earth, but have more influence upon the humans that are in charge of it, they don't necessarily want disclosure. They'd prefer to keep things under the wrap. That way they can continue business as usual.
When you say business as usual, what is business as usual? Because according to the government side, and I know you don't pay attention to that, but I'm going to put it out there. You know, they don't know what the aliens are doing. They don't know where they're coming from. They don't know what they're about, what they want from us, or anything like that.
Dave, they are so full of it. They're as full of it as a parent lying to their child about the tooth fairy and Santa Claus. I'm sorry to put it in such a blunt manner, but there's no better way to put it. When we look at how the governments are, many of them, whether it is some of the royal families, the billionaires, who obviously have technology from extraterrestrials and multidimensionals, to even our branches of the government, because not everyone in the government is even aware of these factors. You do have to have certain degrees of clearance and certain things you have to pass, not just on the military side, but even on the political side for politicians. They are, for the most part, the people that do get sworn in, you are not able to break your vows of silence very easily, because it does put yourself at risk. It puts your families at risk. You can have things happen to you if you do start speaking out. So many of these people, they join with the best of intentions, thinking they're going to serve their country and help, progress the world in a better direction. And then slowly but surely, they end up going down a path that leads them to where they can't even share the information that they have. It's quite disappointing for them and heartbreaking in a lot of ways. But when we look at things such as the royal families who have been the same ruling elite going back to even ancient Egyptian times, if you follow the British royal family, for instance, and follow their lineage back through the Middle Ages and all the way back, although they do come from German bloodlines before they were British, they were actually, even before that, Roman and Egyptian. So they've been kind of moving themselves further and further along. But they do have very close ties to the reptilians who do not want for things to change. And they don't want to change because if they have things the way they are, they have their hierarchical structures. And for certain groups, such as, I'm sorry to focus so heavily on the reptilians right now, but let's go classification by classification. They like order and structure and hierarchy. We are the bottom of the barrel to them. We are everything from food to energy to we are working class. We are not something that is worthy of their attention outside of being in a slave force. And in essence, I think many of us, pardon me, cat hair, can recognize that we are all debt slaves at this point. Everyone you know is struggling financially and isn't doing as well as we thought we would be at this point in life because they have compressed the monetary system to keep us repressed. We can't do rebellions and protests and learn more and to get educated so we can break down these structures if we're too broke to be able to do anything other than work. And so the entire system is done in a very calculated way by these beings who give orders to the higher level people who pass down those orders deeper and deeper down that pyramid to make it so things aren't going to change. If things keep going the way they're going and consciousness is trying to raise, they will do the same thing they did last time, which is start another war. And if you look at what was happening to consciousness prior to World War I, we see a rise in seances and people looking into the paranormal. We see consciousness rising as women started to go for the right to vote, and racism was on the decline, and classism was starting to go down, and people were starting to be more accepting of each other. So what do they do when stuff like that's happening and the consciousness is raising and they're losing control? They start a large war, which is what we're very likely to have happen soon, based upon how things are going. Now, getting back to what your question was, do the ETs want conscious contact? Do they want for humans to be with them? Yes, many of them do. The kind ones do. But those ones are bound by some of the laws of the universe, where it's like you can't contact people who aren't ready. So if you are not more psychically inclined, they can't reach out to you. If they don't have soul contracts with you that you didn't bring into this lifetime, these kind ones will not go out of their way to contact you unless you raise your consciousness, your psychic abilities, you start meditating, you start astral projecting, and then they can start having contact with you in that capacity and then bring it over to physical contact because you've proven that you are reaching out for help on behalf of yourself and behalf of others, which is where if you want to contact Pleiadians, Arcturians, light beings, that is a bit of a catch-22 where they will not reach out to you unless you reach out to them. So complicated.
Do they want us reaching out to them?
Quite a few of them do, yeah. A lot of the ones that are trying to reach out to humanity are very kind and they want to actually help liberate us from what we're going through. They don't like the oppression that the humans on Earth are going through. They don't like the oppression that the animals are going through or how we're destroying our planet or how we're, in essence, very similar to an insane asylum because we are all getting a bit of cabin fever going on. We're disconnected from our Earth, we're disconnected from the animals, and we are disconnected from each other. They want to help put us back into alignment, which we currently are not. And they would love to bring their craft down and to help heal our planet and to help remove the pollution in the oceans and fix our ozone and stuff like that. But they cannot do it until the majority of humans are willing to accept them and have them come in. And at this time, that is not the case. I'm sorry, but it is not.
What is the danger of ETs disclosing themselves? Like, what would happen if all of a sudden, they decide, hey, we're gonna land on the White House lawn, or we're gonna land at Yosemite, or we're gonna land, right in the middle of Buckingham Palace?
It depends on the group that does it, Dave. I want us to be very honest with each other here. If we have 10-foot tall praying mantis beings and ant-looking beings coming out of a craft, a lot of people are going to lose it. They are going to panic, they are going to scream, because it is so far beyond their normal understanding and comprehension that not just are there extraterrestrials, but it's, oh my goodness, they're right there in front of us, and they're on the news, and they're on social media, and they look nothing like us, and therefore they are scary, and they have this technology. Oh my goodness, they're going to hurt us. And that's why a lot of these other species that don't look anything like us are like, you guys are super racist and classist and, fat phobic and prejudiced about this hair color, that eye color, whatever. you're not mature enough for us to come down and deal with you. And so they want us to grow up a bit before they come down in that capacity. And I don't blame them, because we have a lot of growing to do as a collective. We really do.
We always do. We always do. And you're right. Humanity does need a lot of maturing in order to try and get into that type of galactic position. But
Well,
is that in the future though?
it is coming. It is honestly only a matter of time. But if you look at what the controllers of this planet, for lack of a better phrase, we can call them the elites just for simplicity's sake, even though they are no better than the rest of us. What they're doing right now is they're doing a division between the genders. We've never seen more misandrous and misogynist than we've ever had right now. We've never seen racism at a higher capacity than what we're seeing right now. And they're doing it even between the generations, between, Gen X and millennials and boomers and what have you. They're deliberately trying to keep us apart because they know that if they do this, it makes things easier to maintain the status quo. But if you were looking at this, Dave, like let's say you're part of the Galactic Federation and you are looking at everything that you know on Earth, and you're like, okay, well, we could send down the Pleiadians, but then that's going to make the white supremacists on Earth think like, oh yeah, the white people are definitely better. But we could send down the Anunnaki, but then that's going to make the Black people on Earth that are racist think that they're superior to this other group. And that's where they're like, oh my goodness, how do we do this without like causing more problems down there? And so they're trying to figure out the best way to approach this for humanity without causing further problems. And that's where they seem to be certainly taking their time. But time doesn't work the same for them that it does for us, because a lot of them live a lot longer than we do.
Yeah, definitely a lot longer than what we do. That's for sure. As
Like,
we
I
have
know that,
Samantha Mowat on the show tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Go ahead. You wanted to make a comment.
like, I know that sounds mean to say, Dave, but can you see where they're coming from, where they're reluctant to come and have, for instance, a Pleiadian spacecraft come down and land on the White House lawn when we see white supremacy rising again in certain parts of Europe and again in the US? Like, I can see where these beings are very reluctant to move forward in certain capacities, even though they have the technology with the med beds to heal us and get rid of cancers and paraplegics and diabetes and vision problems. Like, they can do some miraculous things with their tech. They really can.
Why would the aliens want to disclose themselves?
There's a lot of reasons behind doing it that could be helpful. A lot of humans have incarnated on this planet to break humanity out of the cycle that we're in, which is a repressed consciousness, to bring us back to being what we were before we came to Earth, which is a more elevated degree of consciousness. But what that means is many of the people that are listening right now are starseeds. They recognize, I don't fit in here. I don't recognize humanity. I don't agree with their traditions. I feel like everybody's freaking crazy and nobody understands me. And I feel like my home is out there somewhere. It feels like I'm from out there. I'm totally different. Your soul is from another dimension, another planet. You made the choice to come down here. You recognized how chaotic things were down here under the negative rule that's happening with the Draco reptilians, who are the ones that are more so in charge of our planet than any other group, because currently we are being more so run by the reptilians than anything else. It's because we were talking earlier about the hierarchical system that they have, that is part of where humanity's strong racism comes in, is because of the Draco reptilians within their hierarchy system have racist aspects to it, with the white Draco reptilians being at the top of the food chain, working their way down through the different colors of reptilians and the different strengths and capabilities, because it is very much so a patriarchal structure based upon might is right and might is what rules. They are much stronger than the Greys, and that is why you'll see when other people's contact experiences, if you were to research ufology in depth, you'd see that for people who see reptilians, quite commonly they'll see the Greys who collect them and bring them over towards the craft that the reptilians are on. Because if a reptilian is wanting to have an interaction with a human, quite commonly the reptilian will not be the one who goes through a portal or down from a craft to come down and get a human. They'll send a Grey to do it, because in their system, the Greys are the workers. And this isn't all Greys, this is just some Greys. And that is hilarious. Oh my God, a UFO in the middle of a hockey game would be so funny. But sorry. Um, but if you look at it in that capacity, that is where they are very uncertain about how to proceed forward with humans, Dave. Even the Lyran beings, they look at it going, okay, we don't like how the humans are treating the animals here. We don't like how, they're being abusive to cats. We don't like how they're being abusive to dogs. And I don't blame them. I'd be very frustrated too if I go to another planet and I see someone abusing humans that are much smaller or different than, but that look like me. Like, I'd be super aggravated too, and I don't want to deal with them, let alone be like, hey, let's be friends, you know?
Yeah, we do have a really good quality of upsetting things. That's for sure. We like to upset the apple cart just a little bit around here. So as we got about 8 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the top of the hour, Samantha, talking about ET disclosure here from the ET side. Let's flip the switch a second. You really think the governments of the world want
Yeah.
ET disclosure?
Most don't. There's probably a few that do, but most of them are benefiting from the current system in place. And it's not so much that they don't want ET disclosure to happen, but Dave, think of it this way. If you and I, for instance, let's say just for argument's sake, we were the governments of the world. I'm one country's government, you're another country's government. If we have been hiding from our people information about not only do we know our citizens are being abducted, but we have multiple retrieved UFO craft, we have their technology, we may have been in contact with them, and now we have to tell our people like, hey, look, actually, we do have all this information on them and we do know about these ones. That could be a very unsettling thing to have to bring forward to your people, not just because of mass hysteria, not just because of how it's going to completely, change people's minds and revolutionize science and healthcare and religion and everything, but how the systems in place are going to go through such a paramount shift that everything will end up changing. They will lose control and heads will roll. Especially because as soon as they start talking about ET contact and it starts coming out the fact that the government has been abducting their own people, after these people are having ET contact to interrogate them, to take samples of their skin, their ovum, their sperm, to see why are the ETs breeding these people, what are the genetics in place, bugging their homes, and then you're going to look at all the people who said these things were happening that are being like, oh, look, we all thought this person was crazy. But no, actually, there's truth to what they said. The government is afraid of that, and rightfully so. They should be. They have been lying to us and siphoning our money and putting us into trillions of dollars of debt for their own selfish gains. Look at how the world has changed since the 1950s when they used to invest in our architecture, our roads, our schools, our hospitals. Those things were built when taxes were much lower and the populations were lower. And yet we pay so much more in taxes now and have absolutely nothing to show for it. And all of our infrastructure is, well, decrepit.
And here I thought literally it was something completely different.
Tell me, what were you thinking? I'd love to hear it.
Well, it was a stupid joke that probably wouldn't sound well on radio. So,
Okay.
we'll just leave it at that. Samantha Mowat is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Sam,
Yeah.
when we look at the way that the lies and the deceit regarding ET contact have been happening for a couple hundred years at minimum, maybe millennia.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is just a big diversion on control?
It could be. I mean, that certainly does seem like it's a factor of it and a portion of it. That part doesn't surprise me. But if we're looking at the controlling aspect of it, Dave, the reptilians that are in charge of this planet will do anything to make it so that they maintain control. But they have been losing planet by planet that they did have control over previously, and things have been shifting. That is what I've been told by the beings time and time again, is that the Dracos are losing control over the planets that they had previously. This one just seems like it's the one that's currently being heavily focused on to help Awaken and move things forward. And that's why we have so many different extraterrestrial, multidimensional beings working hard to try to wake up humanity. Look at how many people see UFOs nowadays, or shadow beings, or have these random things that they catch with their mobiles now, where they're seeing like, oh, look, there's a slightly like opaque being that I'm seeing right here. And oh, look, here's the, like, remember, earlier this year, I was doing laundry in my like laundry room, and I had my phone go off randomly, and I got that picture of the gray's eyes, and I sent it to you because I'm like, hey, does this look like eyes to you? Like, what is this? And you had
Totally
your
look like
friend,
eyes.
yeah, and they look like gray eyes, like the eyes of a gray, that is. And that is the type of thing that these beings are doing to a lot of different people now to help make them be more comfortable and to make them question things and to show that they're actually around us in more capacity than we realize. Every single person that is listening right now has been within at least a block of an ET at one point or another. They could have even been in the same hotel as one. They are literally all over the place.
How many ET species are here full time?
Probably a lot. I don't think it's actually possible for us to know, Dave. Because are we looking at the ones that are using cloaking, like energetic cloaking, to make it so they appear to be human, but they're not? Or are we talking about the ones that are human passing, that are either, because there's a lot of ETs that look like you and me, where they could be walking down the street and their eyes might seem a little bit, smaller or a little bit bigger, and they look a little bit odd, and you can't quite put your finger on what about them looks different, but you can tell something's different. There's a lot that are like that. And even, hell, you could probably walk into your local Walmart and see an ET if you were to do like a lap around the store, because they are literally just trying to live their lives like we are. There's a lot of them here that are just trying to be normal. And I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. I don't blame them either. I mean, this is a beautiful place. I can understand why they would want to come to Earth, why they'd want to check it
Yeah.
out. Maybe vacation, put their feet up a little bit, fly their craft into, a nice deserted island, kind of do, instead of doing a 3-hour tour, they just kick their feet up, go enjoy the ocean until the sharks come in. But that's
Well,
okay.
and I mean, look at how most of us, if we had the opportunity to go be a fly on the wall and just go to another planet and just, like go people watch, go just check out the sites and do simple, normal, everyday things, whether it's in another country or on another planet or in a different period of time. Most of us jump at the opportunity of doing stuff like that. And a lot of these beings have a similar mentality where they just want to understand more and have more experiences. It's really interesting.
Would an ET disclosure be immediately influential, positive? I can't talk. Let me try that again, Samantha. If ETs were to disclose right now, would it be a positive or negative impact?
Depending upon, you mean for humanity, the
Yeah,
ETs, or
for
individuals?
humanity. For humanity.
At first, no, it's going to be a gong show because social media is going to blow up. You're going to see a lot of people who are uh, crying and screaming like, oh my God, this is so cool. And other ones that are like, oh my God, I'm terrified. You're going to see some mass suicides happening, people thinking it's the rapture and the end times and stuff like that. You are going to have some people that, I'm not judging them for this, but the first time a lot of people see an ET that's in its normal element, it can be very unsettling. It's like you going outside and you go into your carport and you're like, oh my God, there's a moose, right? Like it can really catch you off guard. And it could be the same thing, like if you like were to go out in the woods and you see a 6-foot tall mantis being there, just living its best life, checking out the bugs and checking out the food. And like I can see how when people start to see them in their natural environment, how it could cause things like heart attacks and car accidents. And people, like some people are gonna be like, I'm gonna defend my planet, I'm gonna shoot one. Because there's gonna be trophy hunters. Let's be very honest, humans like to, not all humans, but enough humans do like to just shoot for the sake of shooting and saying they got it. Sorry, but
Sam, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. We are going to go to break at the top of the hour. Samantha Mowat is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. She's a lifelong ET contactee. More contact than you or me could ever imagine. She's a psychic. She's an intuitive. She's a clairvoyant. And this is her daily life, dealing with the weird and strange. So make sure you check out her website, samanthamowat.ca. You can even book a reading with her if you want. We'll be right back. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, we're clear. Sam, we're just going to play a video here. We'll be right back, okay?
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
with 5 explorable Gold Rush era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten. The 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right. We bring Samantha back. Big thank you to T-Bone for our lone super chat. And Stacy, thank you for joining us on our YouTube membership. We appreciate that. And who came in late here? Let's take a quick peek here. Biofuel Brad, good to see you. Oh, you're coming to Caribou Con. Right on. Right on.
Awesome.
Right on. Thanks, Brad. We appreciate that. We'll see you there. I think Grant told me you were coming. And one big pond, welcome to SOR Chat. Let's go to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us tonight, Clam? Batten. Batten is your password. Maybe it's baton. I don't think it's baton. I think it's batten. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Samantha Mowat is our guest. She is a psychic intuitive who's been a lifelong ET contactee. We're always glad when she is on this show. And so thank you, Samantha, for coming back on.
No worries, Dave. It's always fun.
Always fun with Samantha. And you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get, especially if you're with her in person and all of a sudden aliens show up. It happens. Trust me. It's happened to me twice. Your fault. It's always your fault.
That's fair, actually. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
It's
You missed
bad.
Flight 21?
Yeah, it's pretty. I love the area. I love the intense energy that radiates out of there and how you never know what the heck is going to show up, right? The best part.
What's your favorite memory of R2 in major investigations there?
I loved when, it was almost golden hour and we're walking back towards camp the first year and the ET was just right there. That was pretty amazing. I love that. I also loved how overly excited you got when we found that first Sasquatch footprint. Like you were like so giddy. I haven't seen that happen in quite a while, right? That was awesome. And then when we got back to camp, I think was it Merle who found the second one? The one that was over by the
Mark
pier?
found the second one.
Mark did. Oh, my apologies. Sorry, Mark. But just how overly excited you guys were when we end up like trying to like compare them and we're double checking to see like, oh my goodness, are they the same like size and shape and everything, just doing the whole evidence that was really fun. I love that. 'Cause to me, it was like, okay, not only were they over here, but they did circle back to camp, which made me really happy because it wasn't like they're just passing through, but they made it abundantly clear that, hey, I know you guys are here, and we're going to make sure that we make you know we're here. I love that. How about you?
I would say, and I've had a lot of really cool experiences out there since. I can't
Yeah.
wait to get you back there. I really
Yeah.
can't. I would say if I go back to those times when we investigated out there twice,
Mhm.
the first time seeing the UFO, I'm
Yeah.
still weirded out by the fact that I saw the UFO on the
Mhm.
ground and
Yeah.
6 of you included, of the 6 others who were there, could not see it.
No,
Yet
we're all staring at the being.
Yet you guys are seeing the beings walking through the trees,
One.
and
Yeah.
I never saw them. That
Yeah.
still bugs me. But it's still awesome, but it still bugs me,
That's okay.
right?
We'll go back in the woods again and they'll show up. They always do.
This is true. And then the
Yeah.
second year, it was
Mhm.
probably when we found that staff for Merle,
That was pretty cool.
because we had filmed that trail so much going in and out,
Yes.
and there was nothing there. There was nothing there, and then all of a sudden, following that footprint up the trail,
Mhm.
and we get to the spot where in 2018, Merle was scared out, and there is a 8-foot staff sitting there and leaning
Yeah.
against a tree that is dry,
Yeah.
even though we just had a major cats and dogs rainstorm,
Yeah.
right? And everything is soaking in the forest, everything except
And
the staff.
it was so close to camp that we would have used it for firewood. Realistically, like if we had seen it, which we would have if it was there before that moment, we would have used it and burnt it. So it was a good shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say that's my highlights. My low light would have been last year when either the Skinwalker or the Wendigo was trying to lure us
Yeah.
into the forest. That was a low light. The highlight of last year was probably there was 2 of them really. The
Mhm.
tree knocks that were really close to
Yeah.
us. And then I love saying this.
Come on.
When whatever it was started farting in the forest while Tim and I were trying to get
Oh my
the
God.
trail cameras, and I remember looking at Tim saying, "You got to be serious right now. Like literally, you have to be serious. How does this even happen right now?" But it's a gift that keeps on giving there. We got a bunch of audience questions lined up for you here. We're
Sure.
going to start off with Shogun here. Can you have pseudo physical contact? I can feel the aliens dimensionally, like touch, but can't see them, though. And they give me download links, I think.
Well, Shogun, yes, you definitely can, because if you are more empathically inclined, where you're sensitive to the energetic vibrations being emitted by people, locations, or even objects, then yes, you could have this would be like a form of psychic contact. So for you, you could be sitting in your chair, for instance, in this moment, and an ET could walk through you or be beside you, or you might be like, all the hairs go up on your head. That would undoubtedly be a form of contact because they're trying to get your attention. The same thing can also happen if you're sensitive towards, the deceased, or if you're someone who's sensitive towards spirits that are just from in other dimensions and the dimensional overlays are very close, in which case you could have other dimensions that are feel like that you're interacting with, not necessarily ETs, pardon me. But yes, it is easy for them to give you psychic downloads, both, ringing in your ear and having all of a sudden these thoughts coming into your head, or waking up and being like, oh my goodness, I remember so much from the astral, and they gave me a whole bunch of information while I was sleeping, and I got to journal it all down. Very common. Definitely journal it though.
All right, let's move on
Yeah.
to Terry here, who is asking, Samantha, do you ever get this sense you will have to stop being the go-between for people?
If you mean like somebody forcing me to stop, no. I'm not concerned about my safety at all when it comes to stuff like that. But do you mean in the sense of like, stop being the telephone for them and make them actually do it themselves? Yes. There are certain people that I've read for quite a while, and it's like, okay, I'm not supposed to read you anymore. You have enough information to talk to them on your own. Go ahead and do it. In that sense, yes. Dave, what way do you think Terry means us? Because you know Terry better than I do.
I think basically what Terry is saying is that, do you ever think they will stop you from being the middleman or the middle woman in this case between ETs and people seeking answers?
I don't think the ETs are going to stop me when it comes to this. Like, I'm pretty protective when it comes to stuff like that. In regards to, let's say, I know a lot of people have been killed for speaking about this stuff. I'm not worried about that at all for me. I don't think they're allowed to when it comes to me. So,
Well, that's cool. If I hope you don't, because then I'm going to be screwed. But we'll continue on. Let's go to Dunzel. Hello, Samantha. Do you have a physical healing ability?
I do have a lot of energy that flows through my hands. Commonly, when I'm near someone who's sick or has medical issues, I feel my hands start to have energy flow through them, which some of you guys might have this ability as well, where you go, like, for instance, let's say, Dunsley, you and I were in the same place, and let's say you were having bronchitis and you were on medication for it, so you're not coughing. If you and I were in the same place, and let's say we're in a grocery lineup together and you're ahead of me, my hands will often start feeling like they're suddenly having like this tingly sensation happening in them, almost like it's like this weird heating up kind of feeling. And it's the energy flowing in through me wanting to go into you because of the energy it wants to heal into you. Like your guides want to heal you, and they'll use me as a conduit to help send healing into other people, if that's what you mean. So, in that sense,
I
yeah.
think that's what's meant.
Okay.
I do. Go back to
Okay.
Terry.
Sure.
Does your cat know when you were having an encounter? I know your
Oh my
dogs
God.
do.
Okay, so Terry, my pets are so weird when it comes to freaking ETs. It's not even funny. I've had a lot of cats and dogs over the years, and the dog that I have right now, my Aussie Shepherd Shadow, he hates light. He is afraid of orbs. He's afraid of lights coming down over the house. This guy, like, if there is a light, like someone, let's say it's sunny outside, and someone ends up like closing their truck door and the mirror sends a reflection of light in, this dog will growl and chase it because it's so freaking used to me getting abducted and the kids being abducted that it will literally follow the light, be like, no, 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 don't take mommy, don't take mommy. So he definitely knows. The cats get really annoyed with it more than anything else. One time I was laying in bed, I had my German Shepherd on the floor, my Aussie Shepherd on the bed, and my small like white cat that I had a while ago on the bed with me as well. And when I was laying in bed, I saw these two orbs come into the house through the ceiling coming down from the craft. It was an orange one and a pink one. And although they were like several feet away from me, the cat woke up. She like had her ears out, like she's like, "Oh my God, just go to sleep, people." And the dog, Shadow, who's the Aussie Shepherd, he started barking his head off because he was freaking out, and he was like, "Oh my God, the lights are back. I hate this. I hate this. Mommy's gonna go." And he started to like get up and get like super panty and like anxiety filled, and the cat just went back to sleep. I love her, but she did not care. She's like, just take her already. Let me enjoy myself. So different pets, different reactions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get that. I totally get that.
Right. Which can be great, but frustrating.
Yeah. I can see where
Well,
that would be very frustrating indeed. You
well, I
know?
took my kids and my dog out to Terrace like last month, which is like a small town in like the western side of Canada. It's like literally in the middle of nowhere. And there was a craft that was literally above the trees that we could feel the energy of. And my Aussie Shepherd kept looking up, even though it was daylight, and it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. And he was like looking up and he's like super anxious and he kept like he didn't want to be outside. He would look up and you could tell he was looking towards the craft, but then I had to put him in the trailer because his little anxiousness would not calm down. And even that night, he had to be like literally on a leash and dragged outside to go pee because he knows the ETs. He knows their energy, he knows craft, and he wants nothing to do with it. So pets are very sensitive to this stuff and they definitely know we're going through these things. So watch your pets, see how they're reacting. They'll tell you if craft is nearby or beings.
Samantha Mowat is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Let's go over to Hillbilly Herb here. When learning astral projection, where are some good places for a newbie to explore? I want to learn, but can
Yeah.
never think of where to go.
So one of my favorite ways for people to learn astral projection is a book called Astral Dynamics. I believe it's by Robert Bruce. You can get it on Amazon. It is one of the most thorough and well thought out books on how to explain to you not only what astral projection is, but how to do step by step, leaving your body in a conscious capacity so that not only are you going to sleep and relaxing your body, starting at your toes, working way up to your head, but it teaches you how to do that physical pop sensation where you pop out of the body and go out to explore, which is incredible. And Hillbilly Herb, you've got to check it out. It was one of the best books I ever purchased because it helped me to understand how to do that and how to determine like when I'm in one dimension. When you pop out of your body, anywhere you think about, you can travel to. And this book helps teach you how to do that. So for like $30, I think it's like one of the best things you could, purchase to learn. And you can meet ETs, your spirit guides, see deceased loved ones through doing it. Well worth it.
T-Bone is asking, how come there are very few reptilian female encounters?
For the most part, I think they keep their females safer than we keep our females. And that would probably be why. In one very distinct encounter that comes to mind when I think about female reptilians, when I've encountered them, I do not see male humans around. In one of the ones from when I was younger, a female reptilian was literally like pregnant, like she had eggs in her. And she was not near any other humans. Like it was just her and I, and we were talking. And I noticed it was just she and I, what I thought at first was like a little cafe, but then I realized like, oh, look, this is a screen memory. She's projecting this space into me. She just wanted to talk to me, which is completely fine. But in another encounter I've had where I saw 3 female reptilians together, they were all very tall, beautiful, statuesque. They had, like, interestingly enough, these semi-transparent veils over their heads and wore these long dresses that went from like their neck kind of like down to their wrists all the way down to the floor. And they had like a veil that was over their head to kind of hide their appearance a little bit. And I think it was navy blue. I'd have to double check my journal entries though. They were escorted by a male reptilian guard before they came in to come see me. So I do believe they tend to keep their females a lot safer, and they're not the ones you're more likely to encounter because the male reptilians, they try not to go into any of the scary stuff, Dave. Like you've asked me in the past, not stick on the fear, just to try to be more educational, less fear-based, if that makes sense. But they tend to be the ones who are more likely to encounter because they're better at not only protecting themselves, but they aren't as likely to get hurt. The females are significantly smaller than the male reptilians, and that could be part of the reason why we see less of their encounters as well, unless they trust you or your bloodline or you're on craft. So if the reptilians trust you to a certain extent, it's because they either have contracts in place with you, they've known you for years, you have a higher percentage of reptilian DNA, and they know what to expect with you. So that is one reason why they would have you be able to actually meet the female reptilians, the younger reptilians, the hybrid reptilian humans, stuff like that. Whereas if your bloodline, then your family will have been abducted by the reptilians for generations and have a higher percentage of reptilian DNA, in the same way someone who's been abducted by the Greys for generations will have a higher percentage of Grey DNA. And in which case that will allow you to meet more of their females as well and be taken onto their craft physically, rather than just wake up in the middle of the night and seeing a reptilian standing there, or, like just having a short encounter with them. And the female ones that I've encountered were very willing to talk and to share information. But there is a hierarchical structure, and you do have to be within certain parameters for them to expose them to you. Okay, so this is a fun one, First Contact. When we're looking at abductees, we need to take into consideration a couple things. Which ET group is healing them? Does this ET group have an association with the human who they are abducting? In which case, that could be why they are willing to heal them. It's so complex because it does depend upon soul agreements, because the ETs have healed me from when my body was developing cancer, when my body was becoming diabetic, when I was having a lot of migraines, stuff like that. They did a good job of healing those out of me. And yes, there's that multidimensional, like the multidimensional contact, there's the bloodline aspect, but I've woken up and had things be incredibly well healed, and they will do that for you to an extent if it is within their guidelines and within what they're allowed to do. My children have had similar things happen where they're very well taken care of, but one thing I want to mention first contact is my father and mother. I had an encounter earlier this year where the Greys physically came into my house and they talked to me about my own family and about things that are changes that are coming to this earth and things like that, and about our own contact and stuff of that nature. And they told me that the Greys told me they will not be healing my father anymore. They will no longer be healing my mother because the contracts in place that they have with my father and with my mother no longer permit them to do the same degree of healing to them. Even though they have been healing both of these people for the last 60, 65 years, they are no longer permitted to provide additional healing to them. So it does come down to soul contracts, and it can also come down to whether the ET wants to. I have asked on behalf of many people over the years, will you please go heal this person? And sometimes they do. But other people, they're not willing to heal. Like, and this is where it has driven me up the banana tree. Is I've asked, hey, can you go help this person to beat cancer? And sometimes they do help them. A good friend of mine whose sister was going through it, the Greys did help her with her cancer and has helped to make it a lot better. So the healing has been taking place in a very smooth and gradual process. And although her family is a lineage of ET contactees, they still allowed for her to have breast cancer. So it does depend on the ETs that you're working with. Not every contactee will be healed, unfortunately, and not every to the same extent. I don't fully understand how they determine who is worthy of their time and efforts, but it does drive me up the banana tree. I can't hear you, Dave.
That's almost a religious aspect too. Like when you look at stories biblically
Yeah,
of, say, Jesus healing people, there were certain people he healed,
yeah,
and there were certain people that he did because it wasn't their path. I mean,
yeah.
it's almost like the ETs take that same route.
It could very well be something very similar where it's either, they sense something in the energy that allows for them to do so, or within the timelines and what's enabled. It is so challenging to see. But even with my own sister, who, if you think about it, who genetically has more similarity to me on this planet than another woman who's my sister, who is a redhead with brown eyes and like within a year and a half of me, they do not really heal her, but they heal me from a lot. I really don't fully understand how they pick and choose. All I know is the studying that I've done of my own contact and the people that I've encountered so that I can understand it without the bias and prejudice that humans place on things, just so I can better understand.
I think we'll save the rest of the questions for afterwards, but
Yeah.
the ET healing aspect, I know I've had it happen once.
Yeah.
That was when I was taken on a craft with my dad. And that happened a couple of years ago. And it still trips me out because my dad's recollection of what had happened that night, even though he doesn't believe in any of this, but when I was asking him questions, not about the craft, but about how did he feel and everything like that the next morning, it was very, very real.
Yeah.
Very real that it had happened. And I don't know why that happened or what the purpose was, but here we are. I mean, I think there's a little bit, as we got about 40 seconds to go, there's a little bit of wonderment as, okay, I'm not feeling well right now. Can you
Yeah.
help me? But is it temporary or is it permanent that you're helping?
I mean, you could always ask. As far as I'm concerned, there's no harm in asking. No is always an acceptable answer. So if you are suffering from something, why not ask them to do healing on you? Why not ask the benevolent beings that are wanting to help humanity, that want to progress consciousness? Hey, come here. Can you please come heal me from bronchitis, COVID, cancer, whatever the heck it is you're going through? Ask them for help. Give them permission to intervene on your behalf. They might not heal you fully, but a little bit's better than not.
Samantha Mowat is here for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. We always love it when she's here. If you want to check her out on her website, you go to samanthamowat.ca, M-O-W-A-T, samanthamowat.ca. She's on TikTok and YouTube, Samantha Mowat as well. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, we're clear.
Nice.
And who jumped in here? Jerry Lahane, how are you? Nothing or not interested. Welcome to SOR Chat. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell. Skip to Malou, good morning to you. Let's see. I'm looking for questions here. Mike Rivers, nice to see you. Let's see here. Remedic, welcome to SOR Chat. Yes, she was abducted. Look at Fap. Look at this jerk. Can aliens heal Dave's?
There's nothing to heal. It's already perfect.
Yeah, Fap. I got a fan. You don't. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. This is the kind he's the kind of guy who has to comb his back hair upwards so he looks like he has a full head of hair.
Nice.
Every day he gives it to me. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Just razzing you.
Oh yeah, it's all awesome.
Love it. Teasing can be fun.
I love this comment, but a brand new listener. I have no idea what I stepped into, but I can't sleep, and this is awesome.
It's a lot.
Thank
It's
you.
pretty fun.
That beautiful Swedish flag there.
Mm-hmm. I want to go to Sweden. That'd be fun.
I don't want to go there. There's too many good-looking people over there. Like everybody is good-looking over there. Everybody.
All depends on your type, right?
That's why I'm saying I'll look like a little gnome or a troll or something. People will be asking if I just crawled under a bridge or
They
from
won't
under a
think so.
bridge.
I don't know. I think it could be fun. Go meet new people.
Yeah, but there's an ocean to cross, and Dave doesn't do oceans.
No, you're not an ocean guy?
Oh, hell no. No. Way too many sharks, my dear. Way too many sharks.
I don't mind going anywhere cold because there's no snakes. So Sweden sounds good to me.
I ever tell you the story a few years ago? My buddy Mike and I, Mike Rambo,
Okay.
him and I were out getting firewood one day.
Yeah.
And I come up with a log in my arms, and after bucking up the wood, Mike's got one right behind me. I just dropped the wood, and I said, well, fuck. Right? And he's like, what's going on? I said, we're stuck. He goes, why are we stuck? I said, there's a snake curled up on the rock on the path. And it was just a little garter snake, but it's still a snake, right?
Yep.
Thing could kill you. Right? And so I looked at him, and he goes, I never knew he was afraid of snakes. And he goes, well, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I said, we're stuck. We are literally stuck. I literally said, the only thing that we could do right now is burn the forest down. That's it. It's all we can do. It's just burn the forest down. Like, we're done.
Oh, God. Tell me Merle's not afraid of snakes.
So I said, well, I'll try and no, not that Mike, the other Mike.
No. I'll tell you in a sec. Go ahead.
Okay. So literally I said, I'll be brave. I'll try and get rid of the snake. I moved closer to it, just edging inch by inch. Finally, it took off, and I screamed like a banshee, right? But either way, we were safe there for the time being. Wolfsbane, how you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat. And Moodens Mongol, how you doing? You wanted to say something about Merle?
Yeah, like if Mike's afraid of snakes and you're afraid of snakes and I'm afraid of snakes, and we better pray that Merle and Richie aren't afraid of snakes. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in the woods forever.
Oh, Ricky's not afraid of anything.
Well, that's good.
Richie's not afraid of anything. He's a Marine. How could he be
True.
afraid of anything? Right?
Fair. I was thinking we're willing to go in the woods to see Bigfoot and aliens, but a little gardener snake has at least half of us running like a chicken.
Yep, that's true. Thank you to Dutch Hank. By the way, Dutch Hank, you're Dutch. Blue Skies and T-Bone. Thank you for the love, everybody. If you're new here, I see a bunch of new faces. Thank you for giving us an opportunity. Don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell. We're here 5 days a week, soon to be 7. And we're coming back in 5 seconds. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. No snakes around here, because if there was, I'd have to burn the studio down. Don't like snakes. We were talking about snakes with Samantha Mowat right before during the break, and we both admitted that we hate snakes. We hate snakes. How do you feel about snakes? I'm sure some of you out there in radio land like them. Not me. No. I couldn't imagine being, going looking for Bigfoot in the middle of the Louisiana bayou and coming across a cottonmouth or a pit viper or something along those lines, an anaconda. I know they probably don't have anacondas there, but I'm not taking the chance because I'm the kind of guy where if it's like, oh yeah, hey, let's go out there. That's the day the anaconda will show up. It's true. That's why I don't go in the ocean, because I know if the tide is out and you have one of those little pools that is left behind, I know that's the time when I walk in there, that great white fin is going to come out and that great white's going to come get me. There's just no point. No point. Samantha Mowat, how you doing?
I'm good. All I'm hearing is there's no surfing in your future.
I will never go surfing. Never. Ever. No, not doing it.
That's okay.
Not doing it. Especially after that great white named Kara was spotted around Vancouver Island and into the Vancouver Harbor this year. No, I'm done. I'm done. Faeries have sank. Probably because a great white took a bite out of them. Because BC Faeries, they don't run a very young fleet. Their fleet is old. Very old, like 60 years old fleet. So I'm not taking that chance. Not doing it. All right. Let's get some more audience questions here. Jules is asking, when I saw beautiful people on a craft as a child, they weren't all white or blonde. What type of beings were those, if you know, and why couldn't they come?
Well, not all humanoid ETs are white or blonde. They honestly do come in every single shade, even in different types that we don't have here on Earth. Like there are some that are like skin is completely pink or purple or blue or green. So it does depend upon what their planet is like as to what their skin tone is, their hair color is. I've seen ETs that do look like they're very similar to East Indian people and Chinese people and Black people and white people. So there is a lot of variety, but it doesn't necessarily mean all those groups are working together. And that's part of where there can be some problems, because it's like, okay, if like you can see them as a child because that means you have a soul connection to them. That means that your soul has met those beings before you came to this planet, Julie, and you know who they are. So you could even have contact with them now, especially if you want to facilitate that, they would be willing to come back to you. I don't know which type those are because there are hundreds of planets that have humanoid ETs. And you could ask them to find out. They could come, but that doesn't necessarily mean they will if they don't have permission. And like we talked about earlier, consciousness has to reach a certain state with the majority of the planet before a lot of these beings are willing to come down en masse. Because if they come down, they're not just going to come down at the White House. They're going to come down at not necessarily Buckingham Palace, but just for instance, Buckingham Palace, and showing up in China at the same time, in Australia at the same time. They'll show up at a lot of different centers all at once with the same message, and it'll probably be the same group saying that we're working together. This is not an invasion. We're here as a kindness. We're here to help you. So I don't know what their timeline is. Different beings say different things. That's the hard part. Sorry.
That is the hard part. All right. Terry is asking, Samantha, do you serve as a conduit at your free will?
Yes and no. I turned a blind eye to some really horrible things last lifetime. And because of that, I have to do this lifetime. So I wasn't willing to speak out last time, and to counteract some of that, I have to do these things. So it is my soul contract until I die to do this.
Lucky you. Lucky you. T-Bone is asking, Samantha, are they, the craft,
Yeah.
really bigger on the inside?
A lot bigger, and they're not just in the skies. Some are in the earth and some are in the oceans, and they can appear to be very, very small. Like craft can be small like a grapefruit and then blow up to be the size of a basketball and the size of like a room. They really do not confine to the normal time space thing that we're restricted by. And there's so many different types of craft. Like some cannot change shape very easily, but the light craft can. I know the Palladian craft can. The ones that the Arcturians deal with definitely can change shape, and they can have smaller crafts come out of them. It really depends on the type of craft we're looking at. Like the silver craft that look like they're just like brass, like almost like that polished kind of silver that look like they're almost like a bar of soap, like that funny kind of shape like that. Those ones I haven't seen change shape and size, but they are definitely bigger on the inside than they are on the out. So I like them.
Love it. All right, next one. Bounty is asking, your explanation about healing and heat hands. What do you think it means when the hands get cold around people?
I sometimes wonder if those people are energy vampires, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, where they may be drawing the life force from others because they're lacking of it themselves. If you are not able, like, think of it this way, Bounty Hunter and Bear, when you have your hands having energy surge into you, and the hands almost like have more energy radiating into you, and it willingly flows towards other people, in particular one person, you know that person needs healing. But like, let's say you're standing in the same room as someone, and all of a sudden, like, your hands start to get very cold, and they start to almost get like that achiness to them. I would wonder if that person is lacking in energy because they're fighting an illness, or they could be having an entity attachment, or they could be just going through like an intense depression, something that is causing their own energy levels to be depleted. So that would take a little bit of investigating on your part to feel which one is most likely for that person.
Love it. Love it. Let's move on because we got lots of questions.
Yeah.
What good or bad significant events do you see happening in 2027 regarding ETs?
I'm not doing that. No.
Don't blame you.
Dave, I've talked to you about that privately, and I'm not doing that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Are ETs that travel around the earth all middle-aged adults? Are there any sightings of baby ETs or senior citizen ETs?
Yes, the ETs can range in age depending upon what craft you're encountering, depending upon what group you're encountering. If, for instance, I want you to think of it this way. If you are a normal person, any random person on this earth, and let's say you have what's known as like a happenstance encounter, where you encounter ETs because you're in an opportune place for them to abduct you physically, where there's no witnesses around, where they can take you, they can do some samples on you, see what's going on, check you out, like do a physical on you, see what kind of memories are in your head within your auric field. You're more likely, if you are someone that the ETs are unfamiliar with, to meet the middle-aged, very able-bodied ETs. If you are someone who is going through encounters from birth until death, you are more likely to meet not only the middle-aged ETs like you and me and Dave, but you're more likely to have experiences where the hybrids, so the small babies that can be like literally newborn fresh, to toddlers and preschoolers, child age, to come meet you in smaller encounters, especially if they are your own. Or if you're going through school and craft, you might meet some of the very old ETs, like the very old mantis beings that are hundreds, if not even into the early thousands of years old, depending upon what they want to have happen within that encounter. I love seeing the baby ETs. Like for me, the hybrids are where I would rather spend my time. So when I have the opportunity, I do ask to see my hybrids and to see the baby ETs because they're sweet. There's an innocence to them that's different than what we see with kids on Earth nowadays. Our kids grow up too fast.
Yeah, they do. But they
Yeah.
are more spiritually adept.
And they are very telepathically inclined. One of my primary breeding partners for a long, long time, someone I was bred with from the time I was, like 15, 16 years old, that I still get bred with to this day. One time when he and I were on craft, we were sitting in a room and like we had our hybrid children come in, the ones that are like some were mine and some were his and some were both of ours. And he was literally projecting these Star Wars movies out of his consciousness into the middle of the room like a projector screen. And we were both like spending time with, hugging and cuddling our hybrid children, and it was like telling them a story, and they enjoyed stuff like that. But we both have had a lot of encounters in a physical capacity, a psychic capacity, and an astral capacity with these beings, so they felt safe with us being near them, being near the little ones unprotected, because they knew we would not hurt them. Not every human has that opportunity. It does take trust.
Lots of trust.
Yeah,
Lots of trust, that's for sure.
I think
Go
so.
to Mike. Do you know anything about the Moon Soul trap machine?
Mike, I've heard about it. I don't necessarily agree with it. And the reason why,
Do you know what it is though?
that the moon is a hollowed out asteroid that catches souls of the recently departed in the net that's around Earth, recycles them, sends them back down to Earth.
That's the one.
I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it only limits you if you believe it can limit you, right? So let me explain that better because I realized I did not explain that well. I think it's a self-limiting belief. I think for souls that are not at certain points of consciousness because they are programmed to believe that they did something wrong, or they fell too heavily into the religious programming and deem themselves to be guilty and therefore deserving of punishment, I think, yeah, it can recycle you. But I don't think every soul automatically gets recycled. I really don't.
All
What do you
right, let's
think, Dave?
No, I don't believe it. But that's not, it's not to insult Mike or anything like that.
No.
I think that the moon is it's just a body of rock. It has
Cool.
aliens on it.
Fair.
Yeah,
Very fair.
yeah, that's all.
I wouldn't mind learning more about this, Mike, because I haven't heard a lot about it. So
Let's continue on. Go to another one. Paramarv is asking, is there a type of person that the Greys or other ETs try to avoid encountering?
yes, quite a few. So the Greys do not like abducting people when they are drunk, when they are high. They do not like abducting you if you are mentally unbalanced because you are unpredictable and can jump from being calm one moment to very violent the next. They do, and I say this because I see how they are with certain members of my family, and this is the only reason why I know this to be the case. Some of my family members who have really strong alcohol addictions do not have physical encounters very often because the Greys, one, don't like how the humans trash in their bodies, same with the people doing drugs. And so they're like, okay, well, why would I heal you if you're just going to make the choice to destroy your body? We're not going to waste our time and our energy and our resources. The mentally unbalanced one, because some of my family members, they can have so much ET contact that they choose to numb out through drugs and alcohol to try to, like it's a lot. It's hard to try to be normal when you go through these things. And so some of them have literally changed their body chemistry to such an extent that they become like bipolar and schizophrenic from stuff like this. And so I know the Greys do not like dealing with them in that capacity. And that can be a little bit hard for people. I know that with some of my family members who are overly violent, they don't like dealing with them either because they're more likely to punch an ET in the head when they see them. One of my mom's brother. He literally was throwing stuff at ETs when they were coming in through the walls in the middle of the daytime because he was so angry at them coming in and not wanting to deal with them anymore because we have so much freaking physical contact. And he was quite violent towards them. And they didn't want to deal with him, and they wanted to see him, who was in his late 50s, and my grandmother, who was in her early 80s, and he literally took her and threw them both in the truck and went down to the police station and was like, oh my god, the ETs are coming through the walls. And they're like, okay, you've been drinking. He's like, I wasn't drinking. So I mean, the Greys wanted to be there for my grandmother but not for my uncle. So it is challenging, Dave. It gets a lot. It's not
I
easy.
hear you. As Nicole Sackich
Yeah.
gets ready for the UFO report, sitting back, just relaxing, to her favorite Sammy Moe ever. She loves you.
I love Nicole, but I know they don't like dealing with people who are likely to steal from them. So, for instance, if you are someone who has a tendency to have sticky fingers, they will not physically take you up on craft and have you exposed to anything because they don't want you to take things back because they're very strict about technology and what they allow you to be exposed to and what, because if you bring something back from craft, Paramarv, and let's say, for instance, you have the Greys pick you up tonight. And while you're on craft, a Grey uses a wand type device, because you have some, and they do a body scan on you to see what's going on within your organs and to collect information and to collect microparticles of skin samples, sweat samples, hormones, all that jazz. And let's say while the Grey is bringing the craft back to bring you back to your bed, you take that and slip it into your pajama pocket. That puts that Grey and their technology at the risk of the government finding it. It also puts your life in danger because you're going to go online and be like, hey, I found this. I have proof of ETs and proof of this. And now you're having problems with black ops coming in. So they don't like to abduct people who are like that. I know they don't like to deal with people that have troubles with honesty. There's a lot of things that they try to avoid. They are not going to give you a ton of information if you struggle with the truth. Sorry, but that is the fact of the matter. And it's not always nice to be directly honest with people, but that is one thing that I have found when I've talked to other people who had contact and then had their contact diminish, because when they were sharing information, they started to put their own bias or spin on it.
Love it. Let's move on.
Sure.
Let's go to Vincent here. What is it with feeling vibrations emanating from myself before I am visited? Am I matching their frequency before contact, or are they matching mine?
I think it's both. If it's in a physical capacity, they're trying to increase your vibration so it's closer in vibrational frequency to what the craft is emanating. That way you are not having physical symptoms when you're on craft or when you're returned home. But if it's in a psychic or an astral capacity, a psychic would be for communication so you could see them. But if it's for an astral encounter capacity, it's so that you can handle the vibration of where you're going and to maintain that frequency long enough. So I would say they're upping your vibration and bringing theirs to be in a similar plateau level so that you two are within harmonic frequency, really being harmonized. Super cool. I'm glad that you're feeling that.
What are aliens even doing for humanity? In what ways is it aligning people? What type of understandings are they steering people towards in reality? How are they influencing the world to be aligned?
Different ETs have different objectives. So for a lot of beings, just looking at the Arcturians, they focus a lot on frequency. They focus a lot on energetic healing. They focus on really having themselves in their life being balance of the planet, them living in harmony with the planet, and the animals on the planet, the plants on the planet. And what they're trying to help humans with is teaching us how to live in harmony with our world around us rather than destroying it. I know the Greys are trying to help humanity to have a better understanding of the importance of our emotions, our empathic abilities, the correlation between that and our psychic abilities and our creativity, because most Grey species have actually bred those skills out, and that's part of why they're breeding with humans, is to put emotions back into their own genetics. So for them, they're trying to teach people, hey, look, be a little more cautious of technology. We want for you to be more understanding of what you're doing to your planet. That way you can maintain being more energetically sensitive. That way you're healthier. That way you're better for your own breeding, because they actually took a lot of that breeding capability out by closing off their hormones and closing off their body's health. Like, they really did move towards an unhealthier way of being. I know the Pleiadians want for the humans on this planet to be liberated out of the oppression that we're going through, because we are a food source, because we're being hybridized, because we're being enslaved, not just on planet, but off planet. We're being taken advantage of in our trading with other planets as far as technology is concerned and the stuff we're exporting off of here. So I know they want to actually make it so that we're having more sovereignty and free will. That way we're exercising that properly, because as it stands right now, most of us love to be led. We love to be led by our teachers, our bosses, our religious leaders, you name it. We love to be told what to do. And they're like, no, let's redirect that. Come on, you guys, go back towards accountability. And men and women are equal, and humans are equal to animals, and every race is equal. They're trying to get us back to that capacity, which, they're kind of struggling with. I know the reptilians, the good reptilians who are quite kind, are trying to show us, like, hey, look, not every reptilian is bad. Some of us are actually quite nice. Some of us are even vegetarian. Like, they're really trying to shift that all around. So it's hard, because you have a lot of different competing groups with conflicting ideas of how to move things forward. It's like if a bunch of us were in a conference room trying to determine how to move a project forward, and everyone's got a different idea and no one's working together very well. That's kind of what's happening here on Earth.
Great answer.
Thanks.
That's why you're the best. Samantha
With
Mowat
something.
is our guest. We got 3 minutes to go. Have you been given any information from the positive aliens, ETs? There will be, no, we're not talking several global events. Samantha refuses. No offense, Blue Cruise. Let's go to Ralph. How about smells, aromas, or odors from the ETs? What's that like?
Oh, that one's fine. Sorry, Blue, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just I'm not honestly allowed to share some of that right now. I'm really not, because they're not very happy with how things are going, and they're hoping to avoid that. Ralph, so in regards to smells, like if we're talking about on craft can have a very like sterile kind of smell. It can be even lacking in smells. Some craft smells like Windex, and you're like, why the heck does it smell like Windex? I'm like, I don't know, but it can smell like Windex. Other crafts, like if there's a lot of plants on board, you can smell the flora as it's radiating into there, especially if you're in like a more like terrarium area, because a lot of the ETs, like the Arcturians, like the mantis, like the greys, a lot of greys actually really like having plants on board, especially if you're on a larger craft. They have these giant parks where it helps them to, share energy, do an energy exchange with the plants. The way they're healthy, it's almost like their form of eating, which is really cool. Some of the reptilians, unfortunately, do smell like cat pee, which sounds really horrible, but they do, and it's not a very pleasant aroma. And that's one thing that I don't like. Like when I've been near humanoid ETs, I don't really smell them. And I'm someone who's quite sensitive towards smells. I've had the Greys complain whenever I wear perfume. They're like, we hate it when you wear this. Please don't wear it. It's disrupting your endocrine. And we can smell you on the other side of the craft. So they get super grumpy if you're wearing like cologne, perfume, or anything too strong. They don't mind the lavender oil, but they absolutely hate my perfume collection. What else do you think he wants to understand about smells, Dave?
A lot of people say they smell putrid.
I haven't found that to be the case. The reptilians are the only ones that I know that smell kind of bad. Like, I don't find the Greys smell bad, but it could be the ones I'm dealing with. Like, they don't smell like vomit. I haven't found them to smell like urine outside of the reptilians. It smells a bit like cat urine. What?
Well, on the flip side, next time you get abducted, keep a clothespin close by, so that way you can plug your nose just in case the aliens are stinky. How about that?
Sure. Like, they've been in my house many times and I haven't smelled them. And I have a very sense of smell where I want to throw up with quite a few smells. But I have air purifiers and plants in my house, and I would smell them, but maybe it's the type these people are dealing with. What type are they saying smells?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but we're going to have to wrap it up, Samantha.
Sure.
We got 10 seconds left. SamanthaMowat.ca is her website. She's incredible. One day she will get her book out there, and it's a must read. It's definitely a must read. Samantha, you're the best. We'll talk to you very soon. And thank you once again for being on Spaced Out Radio. Coming up next, Swamp Dweller kicks things off. Then we got the UFO report from the Weird Desk and Nicole.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
You're the best, Sam. Thank you.
Night, Dave.
Much
Talk to you
love.
soon.
Take care.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye-bye. Samantha Mowat, everybody. She's awesome. Awesome.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner tow? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best-kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode.
The weird is waiting. See you there. The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right, let's warm up for Nicole here on Spaced Out Radio. There she is. We'll get you to unmute your microphone. That would be great. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Hi, space travelers. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
I know. You could blame me. You could
First
totally
day of
blame.
fifth grade today, Dave. First day of fifth grade.
Nice. Not up here. Not up here. School doesn't start for a couple more weeks. We're glad to have you. Swamp Dweller will be approximately 2 minutes, 47 seconds. Thank you to Dutch Hank, Blue Skies, and T-Bone for the super chats. Trot Dog, how you doing? Nice to see you. Anybody jump in here late that I missed? No, we're good. Here we go, everybody. This is the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us all in as we prepare for Swamp Dweller and Nicole Sackage, filling in for Grant Baker on the UFO Report. Hey, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Patton. Patton is your password. Or make it Batten. Sorry, not with a P, with a B. Batten is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. This story takes place in the deserts of Arizona. Me and my dad are on a camping trip with the rest of our family. But thanks to the size of my family, we had to take 2 cars. One car was just for boys and one for girls. I had 3 sisters, but I was the only boy. 3 hours later, and nightfall approaches, making it harder to drive with only one headlight working at the time, so my dad decides we should stop and camp there for the night. I said I was down as long as we sleep in the car. That's not really camping, but if you had to choose between a car seat and the ground, then I think you know what I was doing. Anyways, he agreed, so we drove off the road onto the sand with cactus as far as you could see. We both began our descent into slumber, only I couldn't as I was a bit of an insomniac, which I was fine with. It just meant I could look up at the night sky and enjoy it. Suddenly, I heard what sounded like a blood-curdling screech of some kind, coming from somewhere in the vast emptiness of the desert. At first, I thought it was a coyote, but coyote doesn't really sound like that. Frozen solid, I look out the window to see a tall, lanky creature standing on all fours. Its appendages were extremely long and unnatural looking. At first glance, it would have been just blending in with the cacti surrounding the area with its seemingly prickly skin. But I didn't just peek and look away. I was flat out staring at it until my eyes locked with its two small white dots. I believe these were its eyes. I am dropping bricks in my pants at this point. But those bricks turned to boulders as it full out charges at the small car, which could easily be flipped with little effort. I guess with all that commotion, my dad must have woken up, because before I knew it, we were driving off of the sand back onto the road, flooring it. Suddenly, the back window was smashed in with the creature slamming its two-fingered hand into the glass screen, sending shards everywhere. It didn't follow us for much longer, as it had glass shrapnel in its hand. It started to slow down and limp away, leaving blood marks on the back door. We kept driving without looking back, fearing to see it again. Eventually, we had to stop as we caught up with the rest of the family. Once there, we all shared the same expressions on our faces. It was a look of terror. That day is one I'll never forget.
Thank you, Swampy, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio and, of course, on Swamp Dweller's channel. Now, it's time to go to the UFO report. From the weird desk somewhere in the mountains of Illinois, deep in an underground bunker, here's Nicole Sackage.
From the weird desk, Nicole's on the case. Chase these strange lights through time and space. Whistleblowers talking, witnesses too, separating the fiction from what might be true. Are they here? Are they watching us? What's behind all the secrecy and fuss? From UAPs to the aliens among us, Nicole show. Over the chat, could get weird. The truth we want, and we're planning UFO disclosures and Nicole's.
Nicole Sackage from the weird desk. We finally got you some music.
I like that. It makes me want to go for a jog.
It's all good. I worked on that. That's what when you were on the phone with me earlier and you kept calling, I'm like, go away. I'm trying to make your music right now. And I didn't want to give it up. I wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, good job, buddy. I like it. Pat yourself on the back. I like it. It's good.
I will. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I figured little techno, little pop, that's it.
Up a little bit.
Just a little bit. Big story coming out of the UFO world, because a lot of people have wondered about billionaire Peter Thiel. What is really his role in ufology? He has declined to say that he has any involvement in UFOs, but there have been some people looking into this, including, and I'll give him a shout out, a guy named Chris Wolford on X, who has really dug deep into the whole Peter Thiel connection. Now, people wondering, who is Peter Thiel? He's one of the richest men in the world. I think he's worth about $259 billion. He started getting rich when him and Elon Musk invented PayPal. He then created a company called Palantir and ended up getting a bunch of defense contracts. And his name wasn't really mentioned throughout the UFO world until all of a sudden this strange, secretive UFO reporting site called Enigma Labs launched a couple of years ago. And it came out that Thiel was the money man behind this. So just your first off, before we get into it, what is your thoughts of Peter Thiel in the UFO world in general, Nicole?
Well, I think I often ask, is he really in UFOs, or is he swimming around in the larger conspiracy theory arena? Because as far as I can tell, if he is associated with Enigma, then that is sort of his first direct link to the community until we hear the whispers, which this is partly why we started tracking this years ago, is that we heard Thiel was meeting with certain people UFO adjacent. And it was all hush hush at the time, and nobody was really giving up names. But then Jacques Vallée's journals come out, and he speaks about a meeting that Diana Pasulka is supposed to have with Peter Thiel. So it kind of brought him back into the forefront again, like meeting with UFO people. And I think another name that is thrown in the mix is, of course, Jesse Michaels. Did Jesse work for Peter? We know Jesse has a strong interest and background in the subject. He's launched his show, American Alchemy, because of it. And so I think that is making people question if Peter Thiel has front people for his interests, which may or may not be true. But then in that broader conspiracy umbrella, he is a tech bro, I guess is how some people refer to him. And he can be very shocking with his views on AI in the world at large, or technology, and our future, humanity's future, I guess is maybe one way to put it. So I think there is a lot of spin outs from that sort of tech culture that he's breeding. And along with the companies he's formed and the government contracts he has, I think he's involved with the Medallion Group, which is an investment group, which I think it was Eric Weinstein kind of pointed to. If there's somebody who could be funding a Manhattan level project and keep it secret, it could possibly be this group. But then we also find out that Peter Thiel has another sort of networking group between entertainers and entrepreneurs and celebrities and investors and the military and government people. And that's his dialogue group, which started making headlines when, an invitation list of who's who sort of got leaked out onto the internet. And these sound like groups going back through the decades in ufology. It's these who's who across international lines. They meet in these secret society like clubs and change the world or discuss groundbreaking technologies or their politics or wherever they come from, because this is a social gathering of people, not anything professional. It's a way for them to blow off steam and get to know their peers, is one way to look at it. Now, Dialogues had some interesting celebrities attached to it, and you can Google that group and just Google the Dialogue list, and you can start pulling up people that made that.
Do you think that this is all about technology? Nothing to do with aliens, nothing to do with ET contact. It's about the technology that these UFOs and potential crash retrievals have.
I don't even think it's that. I don't think it's the retrieved crafts that we have. If I'm starting to question if we truly have reverse engineered craft, but I do think they're protecting assets and technology that we would think could be derived from UFOs the crashes, the recovered craft, or it's our, like I said the last time I was on, I think a lot of this could be foreign technology, but we would never say that we have that advantage, that we know that it's theirs, you know. And so I do think a lot of this is protecting that cover story. Now, I do tend to think that there could be emerging technologies and breakthroughs based on looking into this further and getting it unshelved, I guess is one way to look at it, because I think it holds true. I think we get the crash retrievals, it gets looked at, and then it gets buried as people and projects and money calls. They get pulled out into other things, and then years pass, the UFO stories come back up, they pull everything back out, or they recover something new that they can associate to an older version, maybe, or another recovered piece. So I think all of those are possibilities, and I do think we have the UAP, as you refer to them, the man-made versions inspired from UFOs. So, and yeah, I think they're finding and looking for any way to pull this out of the special access programs and the black, you know, pull it out of that and get it to the public. That is really the only way to, I don't like it sounding so harsh, to cash in on it, but if the tech is there and we need to study it further for all of mankind, then, you know, they need the money, they need investors, they need probably more than they realize to make it actually happen. So
That's if they can reverse engineer it, because we really don't know if they can or not.
well, even if, like, if we get some transparency tomorrow and we get pieces of craft and they're like, yep, we've had these since Roswell, but we really don't know what to do. Lockheed's had to go at it over the years, so is Raytheon, you know, that sort of scenario. And then they admit that they really can't take it further. And then what? Then we dump hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars into it, like an adjacent space program? Or, like, do we take a chunk out of the defense budget? Like, you know, I'm sure there are people at the UAP Disclosure Foundation that are asking these questions right now and trying to get answers.
We were talking with Nicole Sakic on the UFO report about billionaire Peter Thiel and his investment into the UFO world. If he is, because right now it's not proven, there's speculation he is. There is a lot of people in the community who do believe he's funded Enigma Labs and funded other podcasters and researchers and to go along with the likes to try and kind of take over this narrative. We don't really know him, though. We really don't know what he's about, if he even has an interest in this. But if he is involved with the UFO world and trying to figure out the technologies and everything, it does play along with his best friend, Elon Musk, who is worth over $1 trillion now. And it does play into the fact that Elon has played around with the UFO subject, even though denying that SpaceX has ever seen anything. But we've seen that kind of game with NASA over the years. Let me rephrase that. Why do you think a person like Peter Thiel would keep so quiet on it if this is a potential future lucrative business?
I mean, if his interest is genuine and he's maybe been kind of gathering his own version of intelligence these last few years to see that possibility, he could be quiet for a number of reasons, you know. I'm not exactly sure. I would say it would be he's quiet because of his spiritual or faith-based background or anything like that, because I think that's where his controversy lies. But I don't know. I'm sort of at a point with some of these people where you think they would be interested naturally. So why would they deny being interested? Like, so much of UFOs is interwoven with drone technology right now. So check that box off for Thiel. That should interest him as well. Are these incursions from our adversaries, or have somebody, leapfrogged us in our technology? Like, I think that would interest him as well. I think that's where it gets creepy and conspiratorial if you think about his I guess people tracking capabilities. Like, if he would turn that to like a psychosocial sort of study, just like all these companies gather data from people. Like, I don't know, is he looking at data for experiencers or possible experiencers, like things like that in that nature? And so, yeah, I mean, you know how our community is. If we can find a conspiracy or make one up, we're going to. So if something feels off, if the hairs on the back of your neck, if you get the goosebumps, if somebody gives your wife the heebie-jeebies, you're gonna like make a conspiracy about it, right? So,
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely, we will.
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Like, why wouldn't he be interested in UFOs right now? So, I mean, I think Elon Musk too, where he's like said his funny things sometimes, or said, if anybody knows if something's in space, it's me, whatever he said. But why wouldn't he be interested in the technology side?
There would be a lot to gain. That's
Mhm.
for sure. And to be ahead of the market. But I mean, on the flip side, if there is crash retrievals, and if there is the government holding on, I believe there is. Proof, none. But I still believe, I've heard enough people talk, that it does make me think that there is something to it. That being said, wouldn't that technology already be kind of played with by companies like Lockheed Skunk Works or Boeing Skunk Works or McDonnell Douglas Skunk Works, or who else is out there?
Maybe. And yeah, I think that's where you also say we don't know yet at this point. I mean, the big deal that sort of fell through was maybe getting this transferred back to Robert Bigelow. Whatever, I think it was Lockheed. Actually, I think it's come out that Lockheed, they were trying to cut a deal, and whatever they were in possession of, they were going to exchange that back, and then that fell through. So, I mean, Lockheed has made some phenomenal things over the decades. Or would we be able to determine if they got inspired from whatever they have? I know the people at Boeing were so insistent that they started their own program without any UFO pieces to try to mimic or to try to compete with that other program, and Bob Wood is who talked about that often, and I think they spent, and this was the late 70s, I think. I can't remember my details this late, but they spent like $2 million to run a parallel program just to try to stay in the game. No material. So I do think that sort of competitive edge. And even with Elon, like, I think one of his main goals that we've now grown up hearing is that he wants to go to Mars. He's going to Mars. He keeps throwing out dates of when he's going to make it, how many people he wants to take to Mars. But I don't think they've solved that radiation. You know, how long you can be exposed to that sort of radiation.
Nicole Sackett from the Weird Desk continues with the UFO report right after this.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear.
So yeah, he should want to figure out UFOs because they've probably solved that radiation problem, right?
I'm hungry.
I ate a banana before we went on air.
I cut open a watermelon, just a small little watermelon last night. It's really sweet, really good. So I cut it into the old triangular slices. You know how everybody does that. I brought out the watermelon after dinner tonight, and I was looking at it. I'm not slicing this. I started digging in with a spoon. I did. I just started scooping it like it was a bowl of cereal, man. And I'm going back to it right after this show. I am.
I like cutting some wedges off, but then I'll throw like 3 or 4 of them in the freezer. And then you pull them out after they're frozen and you run them across your cheese grater and you have like ice cream, like watermelon slushy, icy. You'll try it. You can try it.
I don't know. I'm not cook enough for that.
Do you have a grater, a cheese grater?
I do, but I'm just not cook enough for
go
that.
like this. I know you know how to do that.
That sounds really good.
You can get fancier than just freezing it. That'll be your next level, next step.
Yep.
Do you save your watermelon rind?
I actually usually throw them in my backyard for the deer, even though I'm not supposed to do that. So I never do it, but I think about doing it.
You can kind of candy them.
Dave's fade in and fade out music is all glitchy all the time.
It's the aliens.
Best name on YouTube, Dry Toast. It's in the chat room tonight. Tacos are God. Yes.
It was nice seeing Sammy Moe tonight. What was your favorite part of her 2 hours?
You know what? I just love listening to how matter of fact she is. Oh, don't apologize for your mind. It's a StreamYard issue where StreamYard bleeds audio, like if too many people talk at once, or you have underlying music with a voice coming over, it bleeds them together. It sucks. But we can't get around that on the YouTube side. The podcast side sounds perfect. Just perfect. Mm-hmm.
I caught another one of Lee's videos today. He made it. He made it somewhere. Beautiful lake. Lots
He's
of
one of
mountains.
them healthy people, Nicole. He's one of them healthy people.
I'm not unhealthy, but I'm not taking like 17-hour hikes to go sit on a crystal clear pond in the middle of nowhere. But when I always scream at the top of my lungs. I'm like a Tarzan yeller, I'm like, ah, when you're the only one there. Somebody probably thinks I'm a female Bigfoot, but Lee didn't do that. That's I was like, is he gonna yell? Was he like, woohoo, I made it?
Probably didn't want to attract the Bigfoot.
Like he was just laying there, honestly. Like he sat up and was like, I made it.
Thank you to T-Bone, Blue Skies, and Dutch Hank for the super chats. Thank you to everybody who's given us a thumbs up tonight. For your mind, let me know what instrument you play as a musician. I'm curious. Here we go. This is the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate you tuning us in as we have the UFO report going on with Nicole Sackage from the Weird Desk in some hidden cave in the state of Illinois. We don't know where. We don't know if she's really here or not, but we're going to try and teleport her back in. Nicole, welcome back.
I made it.
Glad you made it. How was your teleportation?
It was quick.
I love those short
You're
statements.
glitching a little bit.
That's you. That's you. Quick question.
I feel like
for
R.
you.
Keith every time I give you a one word.
Quick question for you. David Grush goes on the podcast for Dr. Phil last week. All right. And he starts mentioning about a couple things that were interesting. Number one, that the U.S. is in control of a couple of live aliens. What's your thoughts on that?
Currently, I mean, he doesn't explain himself very well, and Dr. Phil doesn't know what to really ask. So I think he, took a moment, sort of like after the podium, he was answering questions from the audience and you couldn't really hear him because he was off mic. You couldn't hear the questions, but we got him from Twitter later, and that's where he was talking about the different types of species. So I don't know. Part of that feels like a dangle to me. We have heard stories from crashes in the past that have included occupants, and there are several stories of, maybe some dying during the crash and others dying several years later. And then, of course, we've also heard of this alien scientist exchange program that has been happening, decade after decade. There's those stories and speculation. Are we exchanging some of ours for some of theirs? Are they here, helping us develop this technology? I think it was around the Kingman crash, where we allegedly had an extraterrestrial, and I think there was even strange rumors around that one, is that it was helping us to repair its craft because we had lied to it, saying that we would return it home or let it leave, and then it passed away. Like, you hear like strange one-offs like that around these stories. So it makes me wonder what they've seen from the inside, or what Grush has heard from other insiders or his trusted people, because sometimes leadership doesn't know the history of these things quite like you think that they would. So,
Okay, the second part that kind of caught my attention on this was when he stated he went into it about the man they call Darth Vader, who is Dick Cheney,
but
the former vice
yeah,
president, former CIA, and a gentleman who many people believe is the evil spawn of Beelzebub himself, allegedly. Your thoughts that Dick Cheney, according to Grush, ran the secret UFO legacy program or something along those lines while in power. What's your thoughts on that?
well, this actually goes back to our favorite Grant Cameron. So, and I believe the year is 2000. It could
2001.
be 2001. And the phone call, right? So Dick Cheney is taking like a radio show call in, and you know, welcome from Winnipeg, it's Grant Cameron. And he asked Dick Cheney, you know, the UFO question, if he was ever read in, if he was ever briefed on UFOs at any point in his government work. And that's where Dick Cheney gave the line, if I was, it was probably classified, or it was something along those lines.
Well, why don't we
So,
play that? Why don't we play that clip?
yeah,
I have the
let's
clip.
play it.
And Grant Cameron will be a guest coming up very soon on Spaced Out Radio as well. So here's the clip.
Right, let's take a few calls here before you have to leave us at. Let's take a few calls here before you have to leave us at 20 before the hour. Let's first go to Winnipeg, Canada. Good morning, Grant. You're on the air.
Good morning. Mr. Cheney, I have a question. Since the statement made by George Bush last July, there's been a vicious rumor circulating in the UFO community that you've been read into the UFO program. So my question to you is, in any of your government jobs, have you ever been briefed on the subject of UFOs? And if you have, when was it and what were you told?
Well, if I had been briefed on that, I'm sure it was probably classified and I couldn't talk about it.
Is there investigation going on within this administration, Mr. Vice President, as to UFOs?
I have not come across the subject since I've been back in government, well, I guess since January 20th.
All right.
I've been in a lot of meetings, but I don't recall one on UFOs.
Okay, let's
There you go. He was quite quick about the topic, don't you think?
Right. I think so too. And this is like we brought up with Thiel. I think this bigger umbrella of conspiracy land, that's where, you know, I mean, Dick Cheney was pretty controversial politically, and he was the first vice president that sort of had or gained the sort of authority that he did have. And he's got a relatively impressive background, if you want to play that down a little bit, to where it would be likely that he would have been read in or been briefed. So I think that was one of Grant calls those sorts of questions like poking the bear. So yes, definitely back then Cheney was even known, like it was in newspapers. He was being called like the Darth Vader of this or that. And he sort of even like owned that bad guy nickname, you know, of being Vader. And so I think that's why it was weird. It's I think it's something to own, but I don't think it's something to brag about, I guess, because the next time we sort of hear about Jedi in politics all came out sort of around the torture program, and these prisoners at Guantanamo were writing diaries, and journalists were publishing it, and they gave all the guards different Jedi names, like to give them aliases, I guess. So, and then little Elizondo, of course, in Imminent, like nicknamed himself Vader. So it was kind of weird to see Cheney coming back up again, Lord Vader himself. And I don't know if it's convenient, to rope him in now because he has passed away and nobody could get him on the record or, twist the screws, is one way to put it, and see if he would comment again. So I don't know. That's unfortunate, but yeah.
Well, I think it also pushes into the conversation the legacy program. Who is really calling the shots on this UFO story? I mean, you can throw any name you want, around, whether it's government officials or whether it's intelligence officials, so on and so forth. But do we really know who the players are and the ones who are going to say yes or no to whether or not this subject gets released?
I mean, I think we could take some wild stabs at who would be read into the special access programs and who could, have access that way, or who would naturally be briefed. Like, since Bigelow has spoken with Trump, is he now asking for briefings since Rubio and has appointed Stephen Miller to get on this UFO case? Are they getting briefings? And if so, how often? With Arrow even being formed and what they release, who are they briefing their information to? So I think more people now more than ever are, getting read in to it than ever before, or politicians are requesting more information to see what they can, kick out or drum up, just like we've seen with Burleson. So the question is, will that continue, with more politicians with a new round after elections? Will the next president be as interested? Things like that.
Speaking of the president, as we got about 9 minutes to go, the UFO report with Nicole Sackich here tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We are now seeing a number, the start of the whistleblowers, or the alleged whistleblowers, making pleas to the president for amnesty and protection as they go through this process. I want to play a couple of these for you. Okay, this one is Dylan Borland, who is a guy who claims that he was, after he came out with Arrow about his plans to tell them what he saw, that all of a sudden he started being shamed and bullied right out of the field, and now he's on the unemployment line. Let's listen to this.
My name is Dylan Borland, a former geospatial intelligence analyst for the United States Air Force. I'm here today to ask President Trump to declassify all the records regarding UFOs and UAP that were currently brought forward by whistleblowers such as myself and everybody before and after me, both known and unknown. I can tell you with certainty that I provide evidence of current operations to ODNI, Arrow, the ICIG, as well as Congress and their staff. We are doing this in hopes that President Trump will actually come forward and begin to lead on this subject and provide truth and transparency to the American people as well as humanity as a whole. It is hopeful for myself and others that bringing these videos to the president, that he will come forward and provide leadership to a new reality for not just America, but all humanity. Thank you. My name is Dylan Borland, a former
So there's Dylan Borland. What's your thoughts on that, Nicole?
I was like he was on a speed date. If he had 30 seconds to give a rundown. The first one I saw was Eric Davis. So now that there's been two more, and then of course, this wasn't really talked about, but I guess this was schemed up with Leslie Keane and James Fox. So I'm guessing there's going to be more possibly that make these videos. But I think this is kind of coming off of Grush's speech on the Capitol steps and his plea to the president. And, so I think this is maybe showing that sign of unity, like they're saying they're trying to do, which will be good to see if this goes beyond these three, because we were even saying in the last time I was on, like there's some behind the scenes fighting, it seems, between like Camp Elizondo and Camp Grush. So if it is time to unite, what is that all about? So
Well, let's play another one. This one from whistleblower Matthew Brown. Let's bring it on up.
My name is Matthew Brown. From 2018 to 2025, I served as a national security contractor supporting the Department of War and the Department of State. In these roles, I was entrusted with our nation's most sensitive intelligence at every level of classification, along with operations designed to counter our adversaries' most destructive capabilities. Beginning in 2023, I provided sensitive information to Senate and House members regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena, technologies of unknown origin, and non-human intelligence. I also authored the document known as the Immaculate Constellation Report, the public version of which details evidence of long-standing United States government awareness of these subjects. The American people in Congress have not heard the whole truth because secrecy agreements and active threats prevent me from speaking freely. Mr. President, I respectfully ask that you release me from all relevant secrecy and non-disclosure obligations and protect my family from those who wish to harm me for telling the American people the truth. We are not alone.
All right. There's Matthew Brown. It seemed to weigh very heavily on him. He starts off with a big sigh. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this. I mean, it seemed quite emotional for him.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know, that it looked a little edited. So I mean, they obviously let that stay in on purpose, which I mean, I think it shows how stressful this can be and how each of these whistleblowers are handling it differently. I think Dylan Borland looks healthier than the Rubik's Cubes pictures I was seeing of him all over the place, and in some of those interviews with Corbell, he looked thinner and paler. So that's a good sign, I think. So this is stressful. I wouldn't want to make a plea to President Trump, like a personal plea. That would make me nervous. What are you going to play Eric Davis's or no?
I will try and find Eric Davis's coming up here, but
it's a short one too. But so Eric Davis pretty much kind of did his speed dating round too of, his background and the things that he had witnessed. But his plea was for Trump to, and he got pretty specific. It was the SF 312 NDA, like relieve us of this or relieve me of that, and I can speak freely. And so then we just had Chris Brown, who is asking the president to remove his secrecy agreements and non-disclosure agreements. And then Dylan Borland, he was asking for his documents to be declassified. So it wasn't necessarily a release from an NDA, is what I noted.
Right.
So we see some interest here. Are we going to see some other whistleblowers?
Yeah, here's Eric Davis's. Let me just make sure the tab's
No,
not
I
muted.
meant other than these three. Are we going to see like a continuation of these pleas?
Well, we're going to soon find out. Here's Eric Davis.
My name is Dr. Eric Davis. I'm an astrophysicist and a chief scientist in the U.S. Defense Intelligence Industry. I investigated unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAP, for 30 years. I've seen classified and proprietary defense intelligence industry evidence that the American public and the world have a right to see. That included photographs and documentation of retrieved craft and alien bodies, but I'm prevented from publicly sharing this evidence because of the threat to my security clearances, employment, and the potential for civil or criminal penalties. Mr. President, with your signature, you could waive the SF-312 NDA to protect UAP whistleblowers like myself. I respectfully request that you take swift and decisive action, as the nature of UAP should not be kept deeply classified. My name is Dr. Eric Davis. I'm an...
There you go.
Yeah. So I think
Here's the thing that startles me a little bit about Dr. Eric Davis is up until a couple years ago, he was very defiant towards anything publicly coming out since the Wilson Davis documents and even before. And now he seems to be softening up a little bit at his ripe age, that maybe he does want some of this. We got about a minute to go.
he changed jobs. He was under a job before, and when the Wilson Davis notes broke, that didn't want him speaking publicly about his UFO experiences or that former work. And once that ended, he started talking. So I think Soul Foundation had a lot to do with getting Eric to really come out and speak more, or Dr. Davis. I met him at Soul, watched James Fox's film, sitting next to him, had a couple good conversations with him. Not introduced, but got him and Jack Sarfati to sit down next to each other, and they had been online feuding for what seemed to be like forever, and they got along. So
Nicole, I want to say a big thank you for coming back on Spaced Out Radio tonight, doing the UFO report for Grant Baker. We greatly appreciate it. You are awesome and amazing. Thank you for your great research. As we say goodnight to Nicole, and hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyrighted by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
we own the night.
Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, you may ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job, Nicole Sackage. That was a strong "We Own the Night."
I was feeling it because I almost forgot. And then I was like, ooh, I get to do that. So I embraced it. You know, Dave, that was the last time that I've watched a movie in public with people was at Seoul. And I sat next to some person I didn't know, but he was handsome. And then it was me. Then it was Eric Davis. And then I ran up and got Courtney and our friend Brian and made them come down and sit next to me in this VIP row that nobody was in. I was like, I'm lonely down there.
You want to see something cool before I have to go over to New York?
Yes, WABC. Let's see this cool thing. What's up? Is that from your SD card?
This is from Brian's. There's no claws. That's the thing that's bugging me.
Yeah, I saw something fuzzy.
That looks like a hand.
That looks like my hairy legs. Like,
I know. I know it looks like your hairy legs, but there's no claws. That bugs me. But anyways, tomorrow night on the show, we'll talk more about that video with Robin Haynes later on. But who is our guest? Well, let's take a little peeky poo. Because I am gone next Thursday and Friday, so I'm going to Guns N' Roses. Brian Bowden will be here for our Cryptid World, filling in for Varla Ventura once again. And we'll do that show tomorrow night. Thank you tonight to T-Bone, Awesome Cat Chaser, Dutch Hank, and Blue Skies for the great super chats. We had a lot of new listeners in tonight. Thank you, everybody. Hope you hit subscribe. Ring that bell, because we are here 5 days a week, soon to be 7. We're working on it, guys. We're working on it. But we will talk to you all very, very soon. I got to prep for WABC in New York. Nicole, love you, my dear. And we'll talk to you all very, very soon. Good night, everybody.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.